Hello, one and all, and welcome. My name's Fear. This is Battle Vortex. Mitzi is sleeping, which is good. Means we might be able to get through the show today. All right, maybe. We'll see. In any event, we're going to be talking about Crowfall, as one does on a Saturday. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the Great Hunt and possibly things that could be changed in the future for both campaigns and new player experience. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. And here we are. And with me today, we have the wonderful, wonderful co-host, Xtreme. How are you doing today, Xtreme? And how are you doing today, Xtreme?
I am doing wonderful.
That is amazing. I'm amazed. I'm excited for you, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice not to have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning to go deal with 60 screaming kids.
Chidbins.
Sure.
Okay, well, fair enough, fair enough. So listen, man. The reason I called you today is, I wanted to see if you wanted to talk about some Crowfall. What do you think?
Sounds good. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm down for that.
You're down? Okay.
Yeah.
I invited Highlander. I don't know where he's at.
Well,
I'd love to get Highlander's highlights because they're always very educational.
Yeah. Well,
or scary or terrifying, depending on who you are.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he told me he kind of needed a break from Crowfall, but yet he was in last night playing
And this
Crowfall.
morning.
But
And this
yeah,
morning. He
but
may
wouldn't
be playing
actually.
right now.
Yeah, but he still wouldn't strip admit that he's playing it. He's like, "Are you in Crowfall?" No, I'm
No.
farming satyrs. Then you're in
Right.
Crowfall.
Yeah, he's not. He's sneaky.
Yeah, his logic lacks logic.
Well, that's why we love him.
Yes, yes. His rants are hilarious.
Everything can't be like on the up and up like, what we do. We have to have somebody. We have to have a wild card. We'll throw the wild card out there.
Yeah, and I can't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, you're a little too wild there. Anyway,
One time.
one. You only have to do it one time. That.
I mentioned one back alley Vegas act one time, and suddenly everyone's up in arms.
Yeah. Yep. They turn dregs upside down. Nobody bats an eye. You say one thing about a defunct supporter of the game, and boy, everybody has a problem. All right.
You're saying it's defunct. I'm not touching that one.
Well, that's okay. I didn't say any names. So, in any event,
yeah, we all.
And since most people don't watch all of our shows, because
Yeah, no, just the ones that apparently.
just the ones that are offended watch, which is good. That actually, I told the guys at Crowfall, I'm like, look, drama sells, dude. I mean, no matter whether you agree with what we said or not, it worked. We doubled our viewership in 1 week, so that was beautiful, in my opinion. So today, we're gonna if you're not playing Crowfall yet, and you want to, there are links below the video in the About section on Twitch and in the description on the video when it goes up on YouTube. That's usually on Tuesday or Wednesdays. Kind of in the, I let the devs rest up on their weekend, get their Monday out of the way, and then I slam them with our awesomeness on Tuesdays, usually. So today, I think I mentioned this before, we're going to talk about the Great Hunt, the holiday event, in quotes. And we're going to talk about our thoughts on this. This is the last, it's actually over this weekend, right?
I thought it ended on, was it Monday or Tuesday? I think it ends.
Well, whatever it is.
Someone mentioned it being extended to like Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to go look real quick.
Well,
now I'm curious.
It ends very soon.
Yes.
Let's just put it that way. And there is no dregs campaign, so people still have time to go get it. So while Xtreme is looking up the actual facts, I'm just going to tell you guys the event can be a little tricky. It's So I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm going to talk about what I think a holiday event should be. When I think of a holiday event or a special event, I imagine something fun to do for the entire player base. Okay? Everybody that wants to should be able to participate and have fun and get something new, get something neat, nifty, keno. All they got to do is the seat time, and then they get their stuff that they want.
Okay, so yeah, it ends Monday at 11 a.m. Whatever CDT is.
Yeah. So
What's CDT?
you reward people, effort for doing the time, right?
Is that
So you get
Central?
people in your game, you get them playing, and all that kind of
Yeah,
fun
Central.
stuff.
Okay, so yeah, Central Daylight Time. I've heard CST. I've never heard of CDT. Sorry, I get distracted.
Are you done?
Hold on, I gotta look up one last thing.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Or
Yeah.
okay, so 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time or CEST. Ah, well, there you go. Monday it is.
Dude, just they can
Yeah.
Google that shit. All right. So
I'm naturally curious. Do not stifle my curiosity. I'm done.
maybe I've gotten soft over the years, but I can say that this event was not for the entire community at all. Okay, that's my thoughts on that, and I just think that's stupid. I think it should have been a little more accessible, and we're going to get into some of those reasons. I think it could have been how it could have been more accessible. Although, like I said, when it's an event and it's a fun thing, we don't have to punish everybody for trying to get stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. You can share that opinion or you're wrong. Either way. All right, so I think I mentioned this before, but the cheaps drop for a shadow campaign. A shadow campaign's world rules or campaign rules are 50% drop on items. Is it
Yeah.
100%? No, it's a 50% drop items and gold, right?
No, it's 100. It's still 100%
Oh, it's
gold.
100% gold.
100% gold. 50% everything else.
Okay, that's fine. Right.
Gold
So,
is always 100% drop, whether you're Sky Point, Shadows, or Dregs.
well, all we're talking about is the event. So, okay, so the shadow. So, 50% drop is what the event should have also been. The event should not have overridden to 100% drop because the world rules should supersede any sub rules. Event should not, it shouldn't go the other way. That's one thing that was a huge problem that I heard a lot of people complain about is that there was a 100% drop rate in the shadow. That's wrong. It shouldn't have happened. Cut that shit out. Don't do that again.
The only
Go ahead.
my only reason I could think of they did that was because it is considered a currency, and gold is also a currency, so they could be tying it to the gold drop rule. That doesn't mean I agree with it. I still agree with you. It should have not be 100% drop rate, but that's the only reason I could think of they did it the way they did.
No, I think it was much more nefarious. I think they were just being mean.
I'll give them benefit of the doubt on this one because
No,
it's at least
no,
better than the
they're
last
being
event,
mean.
anyways.
And they're
Okay.
probably being mean because of the last event. The last event, there was no drop, but you also couldn't trade it with other characters, stuff like that. This time there is a drop, but you can also trade those items with other people. You can sell them, which was kind of a cool thing to see people selling these little items that you have to pick up called cheaps, which look exactly like a peep except they're purple. So, maybe there is purple peeps. I don't know, but
I don't know.
peeps aren't something that a lot of people I know are into. They're not down with that. So you don't like them.
No.
But that
That's
was a
just
fun idea. Okay, you look around, you pick up these little baskets, you get 1 to 3 of these little cheaps, put them in your little basket, and then you go back home or back to the bank, any bank, and drop them off. And you don't want to have a lot of them because it's a 100% drop rate.
There he is.
Who? Highlander?
Highlander.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Um,
Welcome to the show. We're talking about the Great Hunt event. Okay, well, we'll let you go here in just a minute. But let's get back on track again. We are the drop rate, like I said, should only been 50%, and they should have also the thing is with the event is since it is 100% drop rate, obviously there's going to be people that want them to steal them from you, but I think in most cases that I can tell in this context, I think most people just don't want you to get them. So that's
Yeah.
the part where it makes the event not fun, right?
And
To
that's
me,
where my issue with the event is.
right?
Well, once there becomes a market for those to sell them, though,
Well,
that
probably
creates the same issue.
yeah, except
So,
for
I think
most of the
that's
people
cool.
you run into. Most of the people you run into who are hunting down those getting cheaps are just killing for the sake of killing because they're bored.
Yeah, and
A
as
lot
long
of these
as
people running around are dregs players, and all they want is PvP. And there's nothing wrong with wanting PvP, but when it's preventing others from trying to enjoy an event, then you're just, in my opinion, being an
it's basically denial of event or denial of
the
service.
last event wasn't this way. There was no drop rate at all for the last ones.
I know, and there was probably
You
some
couldn't
kind
trade
of
them.
weird
You couldn't,
yeah,
but it took them
backlash.
over a month to get them done.
yeah.
Well, that was
but-
bad too. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't much better.
Now we're
But
not
I'm
asking.
well, I
We're
didn't-
not. I'm not even asking for a 0% drop rate. I don't think that. I think that it's fair that there is a drop rate. But to me, if they really wanted to make it to where it's like a PvP kind of experience, then not only should somebody have to kill you for the peeps, but they should have to take your head to even get the 50%.
I
Yeah,
could go with that. Yeah.
yeah.
Because that makes it fair. Now it's a competition. Can they get your head before you can release your corpse? Now it's a competition. Now it's PvP, right? Before, like the way they have it now, people listen. And the other thing a lot of people make a mistake about is they fucking engage with the guineas, and the guineas make a whole shit ton of noise, and that's how the bad guys find you. Otherwise, if you're just real quiet and you just go around behind all the houses and get all the little baskets, you'll be fine. But you still don't want to hold on to too many of them. I would never even hold on to more than 16 to 20. That would be it. I would run them back. But a lot of people make that mistake because they want to double up. Ooh, we can get loot and we can get this, and then they get killed, which is I can understand that part. That part's okay with me. You should be quiet. You shouldn't. If you're not in a group, you shouldn't really be making a lot of ruckus, unless you can fight really, really good. Then make all the ruckus you want.
Yeah, you better be very confident in your ability.
Yeah,
to sit
you better
there
be
and
really,
do,
really good at fighting if you're gonna do that.
because if you do that, you're most likely gonna be in a 1vx.
Well, the ones that do
Right.
show up are the hardcore dregs guys that are super geared. They only do that because they know they can beat, a shadows group. If it's a shadows group, a high geared dregs guy can probably take 3, 4, 5 of them and not even start break a sweat. So, that's where you got to start being smart. Like you got to start thinking about it. And that's okay. All that's okay with me. The only thing I have a problem with is the drop rate and the fact that there's no challenge. Like they have to get your head or something to be able to.
Yeah.
Which would have been a nice addition because the head is now divine favor in winter.
Really?
Yes. Turning in heads to the sun gods.
Oh, they did that last time, and
Right.
yeah,
Right.
did it
But it
last
just
time, yeah.
happens to be this week. So had they made that part of the criteria, well, one of two things would happen. The killers wouldn't want to deal with it because they ain't got time for that. Or they would have
surprised they
got
didn't
a
do that
bunch of
earlier
heads.
in the divine. To be honest, if that's the case, I'm surprised they didn't make it early
Yeah.
with the heads.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
don't think they thought this far ahead. I'm way ahead of the devs usually on these
Yeah,
things.
I
possible.
don't know. I'm looking at the winter season challenge right now. It's just gonna make gathering cheaps a
I
royal
can't tell
pain.
what the devs are doing anymore. I give up even trying.
Yeah, I don't know what they're
I
up to
can't even.
either.
I can't. I don't. I still don't even know what kind of game this is.
No, well, you're
Huh.
not alone. We talked about that last week or the week before when we had people on. So that's the one thing I would have done. The other thing that I find, quite disturbing is the fact. Okay, now Shadows. I am a Moon player, so, but I think it was very, very one side. I mean, so Moon basically owns pretty much everything in the Shadow,
Yeah.
and so we have banks everywhere. Sun
Yep.
and Earth players do not. Now Winter Blades or some larger Earth group took over an encampment in
Aslish.
Azalish, which is fine because had they just asked us, we probably have said yeah, whatever. Well, at least our group. I don't know. Not I can't speak for all Moon groups, but
I was say I could think of a handful who would have told them to go pound sand and take it by force.
yeah. But in any event, it's very one-sided towards Moon. Now, Moon, fortunately, I don't think they're doing this. Moon is not usually. I'm not seeing a lot of war parties going out from Moon because basically Moon could deny everybody except Moon from getting cheaps easily because there's so many of them, right? So
Yeah.
I don't like that either. I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be at least half, if not an equal number of unmarked Guinea areas, and maybe even throw in a neutral banks place somewhere on in those areas or on those zones so that anyone can bank them. Where it's not because the event is not part of the conquest. And since really and we're going to talk about this later, but since really nobody's playing the conquest anyway, I don't know. It seems kind of pointless. I mean, having an event within an event is a tricky situation as it is because there's a conquest going on. So we're trying to capture things and hold things and all that. And then on top of that, so people don't really want to engage in the conquest, right? It's been pretty apparent for several campaigns now. People just aren't really down with the siege thing anymore. I think it's kind of getting, everybody's getting a little burned out. I mean, we've done one at like so many times in a row now. We just don't even care, So there's there's ways you can get around some of this stuff, but I think that would have been a little more fair if they would have allowed unmarked areas and more of them, and obviously an easier way for everybody to enjoy the event. I don't know. Do you guys have any other suggestions on that?
I mean, I would have done the event entirely different. I'm not a. Let me just start saying this event is head and shoulders much better than the previous one. This was a huge improvement over the last event in many ways. It's a lot simpler. There isn't 50 steps that involves 20 different crafting things and everything. It was much easier to get into and just straight up just do for any and everyone. The issues I have with the event we've already talked about, which was as soon as dregs ended, all the hardcore PvPers came back in, got bored real quickly, and realized, hey, I can just go to an underhill, camp it, and just start killing any and everybody. I don't even care about the cheats, because
Right.
most of them don't.
Yeah.
They straight up said it in chat. They don't care about the cheats. They just want to PvP, and I guess prevent others from getting the stuff,
Right.
which annoys the hell out of me.
Well,
So
yeah, it's like if they're just denying people from being able to at least get something, get a win. The game is ridiculously
yeah, hold on a sec. Oh, okay.
against anybody getting any kind of wins unless you are certain groups or certain size, and you can just basically power through anything, and that makes it a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, but so what I would have done differently is instead of just having like a little random item spawn somewhere in one war tribe camp, I would have made it where you add the item into the loot pool for mob drops, and either keep it in one war tribe camp or just make it multiple camps, because obviously you're not going to be able to avoid them all the time. You're just not. You're not going to be able to avoid the guineas all the time. You're not going to be able to avoid PvP all the time. So you may as well just sit there and make it to where it's just part of the event, since it's going to sit there naturally find its way into the event anyways. And you just make it part of a loot drop.
That
You
doesn't
know,
bother me a bit. I mean,
yeah,
I
no.
don't. They didn't have to do it the way they did it. They could have easily made it part of the loot drop, and they could have added it to more War Tribe camps. I mean, I understand they wanted to centralize it on Ganetians, but they made it too small. There's not enough Ganetian camps. There should be way more.
I mean, it's not there's. I would say there's. It's hard to say if there's enough Ganetian camps or not, because honestly, it depends how many people you have per camp. If you got 5 or 6 people running around per camp, then you're gonna be hard pressed to sit there and find the drops. But at the same time, you're less likely to sit there and get ganked by someone else. So it's a give and take. But at the same time, I'd rather, if we're gonna end up fighting mobs involuntarily, you might as well just make it part of the event.
Well, what I'm
Because
saying is it has nothing to do with the drop rate. What I'm talking
oh,
about is giving people an opportunity to go somewhere that the mainstream killers aren't going to go because they're lazy, right? So they're not going
yeah.
to go look for every. See, I mean, okay, maybe Farnham, but it's probably pretty rare that he would even do it. But you know what I'm saying? If there were Ganetian camps out in the middle of nowhere, they're hard to get to, and there was some sort of a neutral bank right there, then yeah, it would have been no brainer. I mean, people could go hide. That's the thing, is you got to let people hide. You can't. For the problem that I have with people that deny the other people these things is they think because they're there that they're automatically willing to fight you, and that's what they want to do there. That's why they're there, when they're just projecting what they want. They want to fight you, and
Yeah,
they don't want you. They're not. They know they're not going to lose, so it's not even a competition for them.
Yeah, like if I see someone else and they're immediately running towards me, I'm running away as quickly as I can. I usually end up getting caught anyways, and dying relatively quickly. Because I mean, the character I'm on isn't geared all that well. I'm still trying to level it up. That's beside the point. Yeah, and it's almost always the one times that I don't get killed is usually with one other person who's just there doing the same thing. But if it's ever like 2 or more people, they're there looking for a fight most of the time.
Yeah.
And if not, then they're gonna fight you just to kick you out so they can have the place to themselves.
Well, and that's fair
So
game too. I don't have a
yeah,
problem with that.
yeah, that's fine. But again,
But
my thing is like if we're gonna sit there and have this, if we're gonna have this much PvP going on involuntarily, you might as well just sit there and make it to where the event is not so much just looking for items on the map, but you can take that or not? Okay, but just add them to the loot pool of the mobs.
or add them to the loophole of the other players. Then we can just
They're already part of
force
the loot pool,
everybody
yeah.
to log in. Everybody has to log in and be available to be killed so that we can get our peeps.
I mean, it's already a thing technically. You just gotta find them first. You just gotta find the peeps first and then kill the person.
I was being a smart
I know.
ass, but yes,
I know.
okay. Yes, no, that's, I mean, and I'm sure there's some guys right now going, yeah, make everybody log in so I can kill them. Yes, I understand, but that's not
Yeah,
gonna
no, it's not. It'll have the complete opposite.
you would just
effect.
have, you would just have an empty zone forever.
Yeah. So again, recap: this event is bounds and leads better than the previous one. I've only
Still
done 2
needs
events in
work.
this. Yeah, I've only done 2 events in this game: Valkentines, which still gives me nightmares, and
Yeah,
and then the Great Hunt. Great Hunt is much better. It is an improvement. There's still room to improve, but I'll say that it reminds me of something we said last time. We said last time we were giving them ideas about the next event after Valkentine's. We said they're probably going to swing too far in the other direction. I'd say
Yep,
they kind
they
of did.
did.
They kind of did that.
Mm-hmm.
You went from pure PvE and gathering to pure PvP and killing.
And crafting and all that. And yeah, they swung the pendulum all the way to the other side. You're right.
Yeah, and I personally like this side of the pendulum better than the other one. That's just me.
Well, yeah, but there should be some caveats. Like I said, that's
Yeah,
why I'm like, well, at least make them take the head or something, because that's the only way that it's fair. Like, even that's not 100% fair, but it's a better. At least somebody has a chance, and there should definitely not be 100% drop rate on those.
yeah, I'd say even 50.
Not in the shadows. 50 is still pretty steep, but that's
but
the
it's
rules of the whole campaign, and that should just be static for any sub campaigns, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I get these cheats are technically currency like gold, but at the same time,
No.
Gold is much easier to come across. Everything drops gold. Cheaps is you get from one source in a certain area within a certain amount of time, and once that time is done, they're gone. They're not coming back, in theory, for a whole
Yeah.
nother year unless they switch it up.
Yeah, I would disagree all day long that they should have had that as 100%. Even if it was a currency, it doesn't matter. That's not the whole. I can see that Blickstep didn't go play some Elite Dangerous, like I said a few months back, because he really, really, really has to work on this stuff, and I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand why this stuff is even a problem. This stuff is so easy to do. Every single game on the planet does it, especially MMOs. Let's get with it, guys. Come on. Let's stop
Yeah.
farting around and just can we add the game in at some point? That's what we're waiting for the game part of the game. We got the PvP down. We got the killing each other down. Let's work on like having some fun. That would be fun, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
people's idea of fun in this game is killing people that can't kill them back, and that's kind of sad.
I never got close to any of the guys that killed me. They just killed me from meters and meters away.
Yeah, that's another thing. You're starting to see the meta definitely change, which
Oh, yeah.
I don't blame the player base for that. Okay, the
No.
the hardcore players are going to play the most effective class they can find, which in this case seems to be arbiters. Well, anything that's ranged, honestly, anything that's
Yep.
ranged, or I don't really see that many Myrmidons anymore, actually.
The Dregs guys are just, I can't compete with those guys.
Well,
Those are all big PvPers, and I can't compete with them. So
Hmm.
I quit the event. I'm not even finishing.
well, I mean, in fairness, Highland, they also have, in theory, years more experience in this game than we do.
Yeah, and they're just geared better, and they're
Yeah,
just
so-
that's what they do all day long is PvP. I don't do
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah, so
But in any event, so yeah, overall, I think the event was better than the last one. It still needs a lot of work. I agree with Xtreme on that. I'm assuming Highlander, you agree with that as well.
No, I hated it. I hated this event. I hated it with a passion.
was it because he kept dying?
Yeah, why do I want to go get peeps for everybody else? I'm just not going to finish. I don't even care anymore. That's just my personal opinion, of course.
Okay.
I'm just not going to go out and get peeps for everybody else.
Okay.
I can't
100
compete with those guys. There's no way I can compete with those guys. Staying out there and fighting longer, it's not going to help me compete with those guys.
No, none of us
I
compete
don't
with them right now.
The last guy that killed me, I looked, I died in less than 10 seconds. I
Yeah,
don't know what he hit me with or what he killed me with. I didn't even have a chance to defend myself. I was dead. And
Okay,
I was just dead.
well,
The fastest I've ever died.
okay, try and look at it from a different point of view then. Don't even worry about having to compete with dregs, because none of us can at this point. In terms of being able to gather the currency compared to last event and whatnot, forget the 100% drop rate, because none of us like that. Okay, if it wasn't for the 100% drop rate, probably would have been a lot more bearable for you. With that in
I
mind,
probably
would you?
still would have. No, I
Okay.
don't want to lose any of my shit. Not
Okay.
shit I'm collecting, the shit that I want. I don't want to lose any of it.
Okay.
But I'm
fair
not
enough.
a big PV. But my side, I don't normally play PvP game.
Every game you ever played with this group, every game you played in this group has been
No.
PvP.
Yeah.
No, not really.
They
No,
come to
we played
gentlemen's
a lot.
agreements in some of them, but they're
Elite
still
Dangerous,
all PvP. Yeah.
Black Desert. What's the
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
one?
and I didn't stay in Black
Even
Warframe.
Desert.
that
that
War
long.
Z one, that's a PvP game too.
Daisy.
Z. I don't know if I
Daisy.
ever played that. I don't.
Daisy.
You know what I mean? That zombie one that
Yeah.
I won't play.
Oh,
So anyway.
I only played on PvE servers. And
that is a fair point. Daisy does have PV stuff. Okay.
yeah,
All
I
right.
never
Fair enough.
played PvP. Yeah.
All right.
Never
Because
did.
yeah, I believe me, I understand your frustration with 100% drop rate and not being able to compete with the bigger guys. I'm right there with you, which is why I personally tend to try and go in the off hours or in a group. And
Well, I'm limited in the time that I play because I'm only off 2 days a week, so I try to get in there on my days off, which
Yeah,
is
and
the
that's-
weekend, unfortunately, which is the busiest time.
Yeah, and and that no matter what event it is, that's just going to
Yep.
be a downside no matter what.
Exactly right. Yep.
MC 1740, welcome. You guys have been playing Lost Ark at Elden Ring. I have played both. So, yeah, I've personally played both. I don't know if these guys have played either one of those.
Negative.
Okay, well there you go.
Elden Ring is a Souls game. I won't
Yep.
like it. Lost Ark. Is that
Lost-
that's the Diablo one?
It's an MMO with a
That's the
top-down view.
dinosaur, I
It's
think.
a
where you
it's
trade
No.
dinosaurs.
no no no
No,
no.
no, 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 no.
No,
That's
no,
Ark
no.
Survival Evolved. No, Lost Ark. Lost
Oh.
Ark is
It's
an
like
MMO.
Diablo 2
top-
or 3 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's got top-down view MMO stuff. It's a free to play on Steam. I personally liked it. It's worth
Does that
checking
one
out.
even
It's
have
got
PvP? I don't even know.
it does.
Oh.
It's got a balanced PvP. So if you want to go into a PvP arena, it auto balances
so
gear.
it's consensual.
Yeah.
Okay.
I personally wish, if it was my wish, is to have a choice whether to PvP or not. That's how I like my PvP game. I wish I had a choice whether I PvP'd or not. Whether it be level, taking a character to a certain level, or
Mhm.
not. That's my choice for PvP. I think there's plenty of PvE guys that play PvP games that would like the choice whether to play the PvP part of it. Which, whether if it meant never going to the shadows and never getting the best of stuff, that would be a choice that I would make. Now, if I would choose to do that, then that's on me. I have no right to be upset. But if I had that choice, I would never PvP. Or I'd
Okay.
have one character that would PvP.
So here's an idea that's going to go over like a French kiss at a funeral. You sit there and you change the required PvP level from to 31, because 30s can still go into shadows. But if you take a 30 into shadows and you don't level them to 31, so you can avoid PvP, your conquest rewards are reduced, or you're just not eligible for them.
That would be the price you would pay for that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they should just fix Sky Point so it's more like an amusement park.
Well,
Let people
do
play
you guys-
there, and if they never vessel, then they can stay there forever and just play there.
Well, real quick, the idea I just mentioned. Do you guys think that's a fair one, or do you think I'm just blowing hot air?
I don't know why that you would want to. I don't think that the campaigns should have the different rule sets for different levels. I think they should just they should have events and fun things to do in God's Reach, Sky Point type thing. And if you never vessel, then you play there without PvP forever.
Okay.
And they should
That would
expand
give
it.
you your
and
choice.
That gives you your choice. You can just play
Okay.
there. And
So
yeah, you're not going to be able to build all the really cool stuff and all that, but some people just don't care.
They don't. They really
you'd also miss out on the events and whatnot in Shadows and Dregs.
Well,
so,
they could have events in the Sky Point too.
okay, well, that's why I said if you're going to sit there and do something like that, make the required level 31 to PvP. And if you choose not to do that, then you could still take your 30 into Shadows. You wouldn't be eligible for Dregs at all. But you'd still take it into Shadows, but you wouldn't be eligible for the Shadow campaign rewards since you opted out.
I think it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. I just wouldn't even want to mix and match
Fair enough.
the campaigns with the PvEers. If they want a PvE, there should be a place for that.
Yep, I agree with that.
Fair
and
enough.
just let them go over there, because the problem is you drag them into the bigger campaign. There's going to be problems if they're getting involved in the conquest and all this stuff. There's going to be some problem. There's going to be some way to manipulate the system to where these guys are going to be able to be invulnerable and winning campaigns. That would just not go over at all.
I mean, that's why if they're not allowed to PvP, then they're not eligible for the campaign rewards or anything.
Yeah, but they could boost the campaign rewards for those that do engage in PvP at that point. Because if they help, if they capture outposts, if they capture forts, if they capture things, that boosts the score for the entire faction.
No, if you're not allowed to participate in PvP, you're not allowed to sit there and participate in fort sieges, outpost taking, or anything like that. You are basically there for PvE only. Go hit a rock, skin a deer. That's all you're doing.
An NPC is not PvP. So they could take the guards, they could take the walls, everything that's not PvP. I think it's too difficult, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's too many things that you're gonna find snags about.
I'm sure they could find a way around that and make it work, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're having a hard time just doing, pickup events. I'm not really.
I
I'm
don't
not really
truly
looking
think this
forward
will ever be the
to.
game we think that we want it to be.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
don't
at
think.
this point. I'm not sure where things are going, especially with
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
be right
Gordon
back.
totally lost.
stepping down. I'm kind of like, because I know where Gordon's head's at, and I've been kind of researching the new, what's her name, Kay, Mary, something like Mary Kay. I don't know, but anyway, I'm sorry I forgot her name already, but I'll remember it eventually. I've been researching like
Elizabeth, I think her name
Fallout.
is, isn't it?
I can't remember, but Fallout 76. Was a project she's worked on, and I looked up like her whole, LinkedIn and all that. And
Yeah,
I
and
was
that
trying to
game
figure
made a
out.
big comeback from an epic fail start.
Well,
Absolutely.
it came back. I don't know that it was epic, but it did come back. But the thing is I'm wondering at this point if they're just trying to set the game up to be on maintenance. You know what I mean? Getting it to a point to where they
Yep.
can just
Absolutely.
have it there. People can come play it if they want, and they can just put it on maintenance. Or if they're actually going to go and finish the MMO part of the game and finish some more of the things that they started that they never finished. We don't know yet because we haven't heard anything from the team, and we're not, it's not something you can just write. I could ask, the community manager, but she'll say she can't answer that question. So, there's just no info available as to where they're going. Now, Fallout 76 still exists and is still playable, and so I imagine if it goes the same route. So now there's just speculation, but if it goes the same route as Fallout 76, it looked like they fixed most of this stuff. They got it monetized a little bit better, and then they do certain types of events every once in a while. Okay, so and which I don't think is a bad thing, especially with Crowfall, because Crowfall really does have a large-scale siege system in place that can be used, and no other game has that. But the problem is they tried to make it like a daily instead of a monthly. We used to come in. They used to send us emails and be like, "Hey, join us next Thursday. We're gonna have a big old giant fight," and everybody would come for that. And I don't know how that translated into, oh, well, they'll come to this one event. We can just do that every day. That doesn't work that way. There's no game that it works that way, that those large events happen every week. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I still see the community manager asking for, we want to see videos of big fights. And it's like, yeah, there's really not anybody doing those right now, unless you want a staged one. I mean, sure, if you get, you put the Winter Blades and Death against each other, they could stage all the big freaking fights you want, but that's not what the game is anymore. They're not even playing the actual siege anymore, okay? I can tell you.
We know that for a fact.
I'm there every day. And they're just not even interested. Everybody's interested in the bare minimums, which is basically a death throw. Anytime I get to a game where I'm just doing the bare minimum, like Black Desert, when I was just fishing, and then eventually I stopped even picking up the rewards for fishing, I knew that was the end. You know what I mean? I knew that when I stopped picking up the rewards for fishing every day, I knew that I was done. It's the same way with all games. When you get to a point to where you're just doing one thing a day and getting the reward for it and then logging out, that's it. You're really done. You're just holding on to that. Oh, that'll all be better again. It's not going to all be better again. It's never going to be what it was. And even with the dregs, the big changes they made to dregs, that really didn't get a lot of movement in the community. There was no giant mass returns. I mean, the only way you're going to get someone to return is if there's a way that they can profit from it. And that's just the way it is. And I know, like Marquis, I know he won't come back unless he's got a way to make money from it. Even if it doesn't have to be gobs and gobs of money, but he has to be able to say, yes, people are interested in buying this stuff. How do we get that long-term player base like EVE Online that just continues to, he's probably got customers that buy monthly from him. So yeah, that's profitable for him. That's, that's just easy money. And that's how you get some of these creators back. A lot of these creators, even ones that we've talked to, said they would be back on a certain date, even didn't show up. So what happened there? We don't know.
I'm back, by the way.
I mean, I could speculate about that all day, but I would just get Xtreme in more trouble. So Uh,
Yeah, no, you would start speculating, and I'm the one who gets blamed.
that's right. It's your fault, you little scrub. So, just spend $3,000-$4,000. You'll be fine.
Spend $3,000-$4,000. What the hell did I miss?
Well, I mean, if you don't want to get in trouble, you just spend a lot of money, and then they just
Oh, okay, got it. You buy immunity.
yeah, you buy your freedom.
By anti-suppression.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Mhm.
So in any event, yeah, we don't know where they're going. Are they just setting it up to do that? We don't know. I'm interested to see what these people say, but obviously, and the biggest problem that I have with this particular thing, like say for example, like No Man's Sky, they did a comeback thing. They came back. It took them a long time though. So we're trying to play the game during this time where we don't know what's going on. If we all just took a break for a year and came back, maybe everything would be wonderful. But then again, maybe we wouldn't. You know what I mean? It's like
Well,
a lot
they
of
don't
people
like to hear that either. They'd
once
be
they
scared to death. Yeah.
once they get over it, once you get over a game, you can stay away from it forever.
Yep.
And you don't feel obligated to be there every day. The Crowfall doesn't. I mean, Crowfall ties you up in appointments for sieges and stuff like that, which I don't agree with. But they don't really have anything daily wise. They were talking about that, but they don't have any daily stuff. That's stuff that ties people up, But I don't like the part where, especially in the Shadow, where you take over all this land and then you're responsible for it. So you have to do the upkeep, the fighting, the defending, I'm more of a, hey, let's just go rip that thing to the shreds. That's what I want to do. I don't want and I don't want to have to be somewhere. Oh, we got a thing at 2 and a thing at 4 and a thing at 6, and it's like, dude, screw that. I want to do other stuff. I want to build characters and stuff like. They don't really even have that. Their monster spawning areas are so sporadic and boring. It's not even fun to level characters in the game. I mean, Black Desert, I can level a character all day long. I love leveling characters in Black Desert, Warframe, any of those. They're fun as hell to level a character.
And they just made it even easier.
Yeah. And they're fun. Like, you get in there, you just kick ass, taking names, and then your character's done. You're like, yay. All right, now I can park that character, and then I get the next one.
It's like
yeah.
So Black Desert has made it so easy to level a character while keeping it fun at the same time with their seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
Because while you're leveling that character and you're learning how to play that character in a relatively safe zone. I use that term loosely because you can still PvP, but everyone else's gear is the same as yours. Like you don't have, end game god tier gear running around. Everyone gets the same gear. So it's a safe, easy, fun, and fast way to level a new character.
Yeah.
So I mean that's what I love about that's why I enjoy their leveling system.
Yeah, and the game itself, Crowfall, it started as a large scale siege game, and they have been bringing it down, but it's still for small guilds. It's untenable to try and get competitive with the high end guilds. It's just it literally could take you your entire life, and you may never be able to beat those guys. They're whatever gear they have, whatever skills they have, that's just not widespread information. That's just not widely shared gear. That's not widely, vessels between the vessels and the rings and
and no
weapons.
One's willing to and they're not even willing to share their build either.
And they also, well, that's the strategy pretty much in any RTS, but that's why the RTS guys used to always get mad at me because I'd share builds.
Yeah, who was it? But in terms of like larger guilds and smaller guilds, Zybeck actually did an 11. I won't even call it a live stream, even though it was on Twitch. He did an 11.5-minute video, just kind of talking about the state of the game. One thing he mentioned was the fact that a lot of these larger guilds weren't created organically. They were literally just large guilds coming in from other games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that is the problem. There is no way. I shouldn't say there's no way, but it's going to be very hard for newer players coming in who want to start their own guild to be competitive, because the amount of manpower you need to sit there and control and maintain any given area is insane.
Yeah, and the amount of knowledge some of these guys have is so far beyond anything I can even imagine that, you know, I don't play that way. Like, I just want to go out there and, you know, beat each other up. I don't care about this stat and that stat and you got to do this and that and do backflips and all that. I don't care about all that. I just want to have some fun, you know, and enjoy my time and build some characters and hang out. Sure, I like going and fighting, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's not something that I want to do all the time. And I think a lot of people think like that. And I just don't think they understand it. They're listening to the 0.1% of some player base somewhere that's, you know, that wants to just brutalize everybody. And that's just not the way this game's going to go down. I don't think this game is never going to be an esport. So why are we even entertaining that notion at all?
Yeah. I mean, I
Who's
have.
riding around me?
I don't know who's riding around
It's
you.
me.
Okay. As far as like MMOs that are based on hardcore PvP, I haven't seen a whole lot of any really succeed. I'm sure some of you, like the most people sit there and say Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. I'm like, okay,
You know, I played Guild Wars 2, and I
one
never had to
success.
get in a fight at all.
I think it was.
Isn't it optional though? You can go fight if you want, but
Yeah, I think it's like balanced matchmaking or something. But my point is okay, great.
What a
You have
choice.
I
You
never
have-
had to do that.
one success as an example. I'm sure there are other ones out there, but that's just the first one that comes to mind. I don't think it's possible to sit there and have a truly pure hardcore PvP MMO. You have to sit there and balance it around the PvE players because they are going to be your main player
Well,
base.
they're your cannon fodder anyway, but they don't even have anything interesting enough to hold the PvE players around. So the PvE players are just doing what they can to get by, but they're not. You know what I mean? Every campaign there's a gazillion people that are playing in the shadow that you will never ever see at any siege anywhere. Not even, I mean, barely even outposts. I mean, literally, we've had to, at some points, make alt characters just to be able to even flip our own outposts so we could have something to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how sad it is at this point.
I think it's because most everyone in this game,
They're burned out on it, I think.
well, they're either burned out or they are the true hardcore loyal fans who just want to do straight up PvP and only come into the game when Dregs is available. Like I said, I was going through the Crowfall Discord earlier in general chat, and I saw more than one post saying, yeah, they're just going to leave until Dregs comes back because they don't care about everything else. They don't care about Shadows. They don't care about Sky Point. They just want to do Dregs.
Yeah, that's the ones that
All they
aren't
want.
chasing around the noobs. Yeah, they're like probably decent folk. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have their thing. They want to do their thing. Shadows is beneath most of the Dregs players, so they're not even interested in finding out. You know, I mean, there's a couple Sun running around. There's a couple Earth running around, but yeah, they're not challenging Moon. Moon is winning by a ridiculous amount of points again, and it's just, yeah.
Well, we did the math earlier, so if things continue, we know what it's going to end up at.
It'll be over 700,000.
Yep. We did the math.
That's the highest one that I know. The last
Another
one was
record.
pretty
Yep.
high.
Last one was
Last one was a record as well.
667 or something. But
Yeah.
this
Hello,
one's gonna
Kinger.
be even higher.
Kinger's in
the
chat.
Oh.
Yeah. It says interesting viewpoints.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't play like to whatever, like the way they play in the Dregs. That's really not how the Shadows is played. And I know a lot of the Dregs guys can't stand that they'll come somewhere for PvP, and if you don't give it to them, then they get all mad. And it's like, we don't have to do that. I mean, obviously, if they're on their mains, we already know we're not going to whip them. Unless they're just, you know, if you just have one and you let us beat on you with 5 or 6 guys, okay. Because then we got a chance. That's leveling the playing field. At that point, that's not a gank. That's just that some bitch is strong. I had a guy hit me yesterday and knocked me like clean into the next fucking zone. I was just like, holy shizballs, man! Almost took my whole health bar one swipe. I was like, damn, what did he hit me with? Like I
Well,
thought
they're
I was
running
looking-
around with their Lego gear and min-maxed.
yeah, min maxed. There's some brilliant crafters out there. I gotta
Oh,
give
yeah.
them that. But yeah, I was a little too brilliant. You know what I mean? It's like I always tell people, you can dress down a little bit. When you like we had that event, we had to tell MMM to dress down a little bit because he was just like wrecking us. Like in 2 seconds, we're like, dude, put on some more track.
No, that's the way it's been
Yeah.
for me here lately. I mean, since the dregs have been closed, that's what's been killing me.
Yeah, it's like dress down a little. You guys don't need that
Yeah.
kind of. You don't need
And
that
I'm
kind of
fairly well
firepower here.
gilded. I don't go out there and war try by any means. I spend money on shit.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have
yeah.
junk armor for sure.
No, I
but I'm
mean we're
still
getting better
dying
stuff, and it
flat.
does
I
make
mean,
a difference though. There's some of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my as far as dregs goes, I would like to see a literal naked dregs. Like you go in naked, full loot, including what you're wearing. That would be PvP to me. And then I don't care if you have forts or not. You could have forts and I don't even care about the forts. Just have outposts, and whoever flips the most flags wins. Whoever. But as
Yeah.
far as fighting,
They need to
everything
find a way to-
drops. That would make it truly, truly, in my opinion, then only the skilled players would be able to truly say they're skilled players.
Yeah, they need to find a way to balance out the end game armor though, because last dregs they did, it was, I think, right up through iron. It was pretty. Cause you could still do iron gear in the temple, but after that, you weren't able to make your silver or brilliant gear in
Yeah.
the temple. You had to be like level 34 and all that. It got so top heavy in that regard. It was you couldn't compete. Yeah.
Well, and then again, a race to progression is just silly. That just rewards the people that can spend more time. That's not really a you know what I mean? That's not a competition that the whole player base is going to want to get involved with. I mean, and then they had that thing where you leveled from 1 to 30. That was just stupid.
Yeah, the Terminator dregs, I think, was an interesting idea and a step in the right direction to level the playing field for everyone. But yeah, just start out at 30.
Yeah, just
Either
skip
start
all
out
that
at
crap.
30, or if you don't want us to do that and you still want us to sit there and level up, start us at 25 then.
Dregs is
Wow.
an end game thing, and
That is-
it's for end game players. It's not for noobs. I don't know what noobs they think are just going to walk in there and be like, "Oh, this is great." Yeah, no.
And they may do
No.
it, but they're not gonna like
Yeah,
it.
they'll quit the same day.
Yeah, absolutely, they will.
Guaranteed.
'Cause they'll get their shit handed to them every time they turn around.
Yeah.
They'll
they're just
never
gonna
have
get their
any
shit
fun.
pushed in.
Yep.
And
They
yeah,
will be miserable.
yeah. So I'm just not down with that. So I don't think. So I don't know. I mean, as far as what have you heard, Extreme, about Dregs 2.0? I mean, I've heard kind of mixed. I heard some people like it, whatever, but the same
About
the
last
same
dregs
guild
that just
ended up
ended?
yeah the same guild ended up winning it again or whatever. I don't know whatever happened.
Yeah, it basically was it was top heavy on the with the gear crafting. Oh, God damn it! Sorry, I just ran into a horde of thralls in accident. There's like 4 solo bosses in here.
They're they're literally the brightest creatures in the game.
Yeah, no shit.
How does
well,
one
I saw one solo
accidentally run
boss
into
and then
them?
I saw one solo boss and like 2 others just popped up. I'm actually
Oh,
gonna
I
die
see.
here.
That's good. You need to get your ass kicked when you're talking that kind of smack. All right, so about those poor thralls, those poor defenseless thralls.
Anyways,
love thralls.
what was I saying?
They're fun to kill.
So the leveling was a pain in the. Stop fucking blinding me, you piece of shit!
Extreme,
God, that's annoying.
you know it's an AI, right? Take it easy.
Getting distracted here. Right. So what I heard was the leveling was a pain in the ass. No one really cared for that. They actually they loved the crafting system. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't confirm that. I didn't.
I like the crafting system. I did like it.
I don't mind that there's crafted gear in the game, but I still think there needs to be gear that you can find or that you can
Mhm.
win. That's good.
I'm not
That's
gonna
Not
suitable.
everybody's going to have access to crafters. You're exactly right.
Because
Yeah.
I like the crafting. I do. I love it. But that should not be the only way because that just invites too much people hoarding or, again, denying players.
Maybe they're Mandalorian fans, and this is the way.
Well,
No,
I doubt it.
they didn't like the leveling. The top end gear was gated was just gated, and that
Yeah,
made it
it's too
unfun.
gated. That's the problem.
But once you're level 30, you're copper all the way up to iron. So it's copper, tin, and iron gear. It was a lot of fun. The PvP was a lot of fun,
Right.
and so they thought some people had mixed feelings on the whole 12-man limit thing. Some people were saying
Yeah.
it was horrible because then you can't play then. Other people were saying no, it's nice because now you can't sit there and zerg with 60 people. If that's your strategy, goes oh well. I almost said it.
Oh,
Almost said it.
okay. Keep going. What
So,
else?
but I mean that's basically it. So it was basically kind of a mixed results, but overwhelming for the most part positive.
Yeah, and I mean, it seemed okay, but like I said, after the level into 30 thing, I just kind of went, okay. You look out on the battlefield there, you have no idea what the hell's going on. There's just flags of millions of different colors out there. Looks like a rainbow of death and destruction. You don't know what's going on at that point. I don't understand how anybody thinks a new player is going to just jump in there and go, woohoo, yeah.
I
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, Dreg shouldn't be brought up to new player right, as quickly as it is, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you, there we go, finally killed one. DPS my ass.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I can't see his name because it's in black, but he was saying that they should have no level, keep everyone even, and limit the gear to war tribes. Yes, like stuff you can find on the ground. Why not?
All right, let me catch. Okay,
Also allow gear drop system instead of durability.
that is. I'm not sure. Swag Dag. That's a very interesting name. See, should have no level, keep everyone in even limit gear to war tribes. Yep, crafted gear. So yeah, and that he said right there, the crafted gear ramps way too easily. There is basically it ramps up too quickly. There's no diminishing return.
Right.
It's just so.
Yeah, no, I'm not happy with the. I think that in the world there should be items, whether you get them from a boss or whether you get them from, obviously there would be a drop rate for such things, but pretty much every other game there are items you can find out there, and certainly crafted gear is important and crafters are important, but that is the game, and that's the problem. That's why I always call it a crafting simulator with PvP enabled, because the crafting is just ridiculous. It's off the charts.
It's one of the reasons why I like the dregs crafting system they had, because it levels the playing field entirely. It is so easy for anyone to start crafting with that system.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Blixtab was going on about, it's a thing anyone can win, and that's not true. You still can't beat progression races. You can't beat the big guilds. You're never going to beat them because they have literally stacks of staff that they just put in and out like a football team. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you guys come in at 1 and you do this, and you come in, you craft everything, get it all ready for the fighters. They're going to come in at 2, and then they're going to do, it's like, come on, man. There are some really serious guilds out there that do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, in terms of pure quantity, yes, you're never going to be able to compete with the larger guilds. However, my thing is like with the smaller guilds, the dregs crafting system at least allows them to be competitive gear-wise.
That's
it won't
fine.
make up.
Yeah.
And that's a start.
That is
a start.
fine. I do like that crafting system just from what I've heard, but I still think you should be able to go get stuff. It should be
Yeah.
an event, or it should be a boss, or it should be, oh, it's your 700th day playing the game. Here's a really cool weapon. Go beat people up with it. That would be fine with me.
Yeah.
Anything.
Like I know you have your I think up to epic gear that drops via War Tribe, but again, a well-crafted rare or blue quality gear is still going to sit there and beat out epic War Tribe. So I think to offset that, for those who don't want to or just can't craft, have, I don't want to say like Lego drops, but basically like essentially a chance for a rare drop to happen. Not rare as in blue quality, but rare as in some item that is so star spangled awesome that it'll sit there and tide you over and allow you to be competitive for however long its durability lasts until you have to sit there and
Well, the requirement for the resources you have to get to even make this gear is also a huge, another huge bottleneck for, I'm sure, crafters. Combatants don't necessarily like to gather or craft, so
I'm
you
not
know
talking
they're
about crafting. I'm talking about basically like a super rare War Tribe gear piece drop that after killing, thousands upon thousands of mobs or something, you might get lucky and it might drop, and this gear will be so awesome. Or this one piece of gear might be so awesome, it might allow you to be competitive for a short amount of time.
yeah. I
And so
was
you
talking
can,
about that a minute ago. Yeah, so
yeah, okay.
yeah, that's what I was saying as well. Yeah, there should be stuff out in the world that you can get.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
let's
have
see.
random chests that pop up. They need to
Yep.
take the GPS system off the guards. That would be good.
Yeah, but I mean,
Um,
those random chests don't actually really give
that's a problem.
super high quality gear. They
They
give you
should.
they can give you decent gear, but it's nothing that's gonna be competitive with good crafted gear. And as Swag Dad said, let's see, we used to have War Tribe be as strong as Crafter, or be as strong, but crafters got butt hurt. Honestly, I would too if I was a crafter and the time and effort I had to put into the crafting system. If all someone had to do was go out and kill a satyr and get a drop, yeah, I'd be a little pissed about that as well if that was a common thing.
Yeah, but the problem was is they should have fixed the crafting so it wasn't so damn difficult. Then the crafters wouldn't have been as butthurt. But when
Yeah.
they have to spend 60,000 hours to get a freaking sword, and they have to be a, a woodworker, a blacksmith, a jewel crafter, and a necromancer to make something, that's stupid. That was a bad thing. A 7-step system is way too ridiculously huge.
Yeah. Also, I will say the durability loss from PvP
Is
is insane.
It's terrible. That's why
Um,
nobody wants the PvP because they don't want to lose their durability.
Yeah, like the gear on my healer right now, it is basically lasted me all campaign, and then last night on all my pieces, I lost about looks like a fourth of all durability just last night alone, because of the constant death from PvP.
The one thing that scares me about that though is not being able to have a crafter. If people start quitting this game and the crafters go away, then you got a problem.
No, I think you got a solution there because then everyone's using War
I
Tribe.
don't know, man.
I-
Well, this is the player base's mentality. They instead of
Except for
everybody
the
just
ones that are
agreeing
actually
that we should
crafters.
all just use War Tribe because it's cheap, no, they have to have all their advantages. So they would rather
That's
go get
exactly
that
right.
gear and not
Yep.
fight at all,
Yep.
just to have the advantage, than they
Yep.
would just to say, hey, let's everybody wear War Tribes and have some fun. No, they got to have some advantage. They got to have a ring. They got to have an earring or a belly ring or whatever the hell they got. This is
Well,
the player base's mentality. It's silliness.
okay, so that brings back something I brought up like 4 or 5 Crow Talks ago, which was improving the loot pool for mobs. Because right now the loot pool is mediocre at best. So, I mean, like one of the sacrifice items you can pick up is, I think, from an Underhill, like a rosary or something. So that's, I won't say it's a type of jewelry, but it almost kind of is in a way. So, I mean, why aren't there War Tribe jewelry drops?
Well, yeah.
Why-
Why do they gatekeep so much stuff? It's ridiculous.
Well,
There's
I
just
don't like the
no
idea
way.
of there not being some way other to get armored another than dependent on a crafter. Like
I
you
mean-
said before, Fear. I think that stuff should
Yeah, I mean, I like that there's crafters in the game, but
be. Yes, I.
yeah, but
don't-
they're
that doesn't bother
gatekeepers.
me.
They're basically gatekeepers,
Yeah.
and we need less gatekeeping. We need more open. Let's have people go out and kill each other. And yes, they do need to redefine what the game is because Throne War Simulator is burnt. Okay, nobody's playing Throne War Simulator anymore. Besides, in a world that dies, Throne War is not really a good. I mean,
Well,
you never saw Game of Thrones. The world never died. The world stayed there, and it was always the way it was. And certain
I
people
ain't
ruled
seeing
certain
things.
areas and all that forever,
I
or
am
until
seeing
they got
things
killed.
disappear in the game because Aaron's is becoming empty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vendors over there. That tells me that's what I look at when I see people disappearing from the game. Those vendors are becoming empty. That means nobody's in here, or they just don't care to make shit anymore. It's one of the two things.
Yeah, I mean, either empty vendors or just
Yep.
missing stalls entirely.
Yep.
Let's see. So they need to identify what they want, the main part of the game. If it's PvP, they identify ways to create those, but also create it in a way that the field is pretty even. Outplay, outscale, not outgear. Yeah, and to an extent, Swag Dad, there is an element where you can still sit there and outplay and outskill your opponent. But those who are able to do that also have such insane gear that it's a very difficult thing to do.
6v1 works too. That just so
Yeah.
you know, that's one way that we do it because we
Yeah,
can't we can't play them one-on-one.
Yeah, I'll say since we don't have the skill to outplay
Yeah.
their skill and gear at the same time, because they
Yeah,
got the gear and the skill.
Yeah.
We implement a country that shall not be named strategy.
Yeah. And then yeah, because we may go in, 3 of us may die, but they won't get the other 3 hopefully before they get killed. It's
Let's
just about the
see.
numbers. It's just attrition at that point.
Yeah,
There's going to be
it's
some
like
deaths, but you know.
and it's like that. You just basically prove my point. Funny thing, in my guild has a bunch of Lego and Epic stuff and 100k of dust in an old EK. Yeah, there you go. You got a stockpile of stuff that you can sit there slap on. And I don't know how long. I don't know if you still play the game, if it's been a while. But I'm sure once you get back into it, brush the rust off between the skill and gear, you probably absolutely dominate for
Well, yeah,
for a while.
because there's a huge power vacuum between Shadow and Dregs anyway. I mean, there's a disparity. And the Shadow people they're not even on the same wavelength. Like the way they play versus the way the Dregs guys play, it's so ridiculously different. And we are, I'd say, fair to average, better than average at adapting to certain things, which we had to be for we had a bunch of Dregs guys come in one season and started beating the holy bejesus out of us, and we had to change our tactics to be able to still win. But a lot of groups, you take their main building and they just fold it up, and they're just like, okay, thanks for playing, we'll see you guys next season. It's like, what do you mean you're not going to come try and get it back? We're like, hey.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't mean to sit there and hurt your feelings. Come back.
No, yeah, and then we let them do that, and then of course, if we let them do that, then everybody's, oh, you're nut cupping. It's like, no, we just want them to keep playing, But I mean, that's not a nut cup, that we're just trying to keep people in the game. There's a lot of these people that don't give a damn. They want total subjugation, and hey, I'm all down with that. But the problem is, it doesn't keep the player base going. So
yeah,
it's an issue.
I think the idea they had for the game was an interesting one. I don't think the hardcore PvP thing really works for MMOs. So that's just me. I think they need to, for lack of a better term, reskin the game into something a little more traditional while still keeping Crowfall's unique identity. And that should bring players back and make it more appealing and accessible to a wider audience.
Yeah, I don't think that they would do that. What Tagamo suggested there, make the best gear in the store. Play to win is very sensitive subject with gamers. I wouldn't cross that line at all.
No, absolutely not.
I think he was joking.
Cosmetic. Yeah, I was hoping that he was just joking.
I think he's just joking.
Yeah.
They do dregs to ceilings and floors that are 5% and less grind. My group would be back. Well, you should have tried the last dregs then. Aside from having to level 1 to 30, the grind for materials to get gear was so easy and simple. Even Highlander could do it.
Yeah, and
I'm just saying.
No, that's actually a good analogy. I can't fault him on that.
So it's like, I'm not saying he
I
would
really
do
can't.
it.
Because my
But-
inherent laziness, yeah, if I can do it, anybody can. That's a true. That's a true
it
statement.
is super easy. Like I said, because they had like one discipline that was basically your crafting and harvesting rolled into one, and I managed to get 8 of those things to drop before even leaving the temple zone, and they are so cheap to upgrade.
But see, I
Yeah.
fall under the spectrum of the players who don't mind grinding for gold and would rather take their gold and buy what they need.
And
I
there's
don't
nothing
wanna
wrong
have
with
to
that
do
either. There's
Correct.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Correct.
You got the
But
crafters
that's where
don't
I
work for
fall.
free.
Yeah,
I'll say-
exactly.
Yeah, 2017 may never return, but those days were fun. I mean, back in the beginning when we were doing all those play tests, those were a lot of fun. But there was no concern for the politics, and there was no concern about what your gear was or any of that. You just went and grabbed something off the rack and went and beat somebody's head in with it. That was fun. And then they put trebuchets and all that. Trebuchets are a lot of fun, especially. But now the trebuchets, I don't even think they kill people anymore. I know they don't kill the guards.
don't.
And it's like, dude, they took all the fun out of it because there's nothing better than killing
How
like
does a-
20 guys with a trebuchet.
I would say, how does a flying ball on fire not at least give someone
Somebody
a
cried.
burn or something?
It was too OP probably, but you can still break. You can go break.
Then
a
don't.
trebuchet.
I would say then don't stand in the damn thing's range or move when you
now
see
you're
a.
talking
Now
common
you're
sense. Would
that's
you quit
you
it?
just stop what you're saying right there.
Stop.
That's silly.
Oh, I forget.
Nobody's
Come on,
gonna
we're
do
playing
that.
a game where they won't even let us put our own personal shit in our personal chest. Okay?
Soulbound.
Okay?
items in a personal chest. Yes.
We can't put our soulbound shit that's soulbound to us in our personal chest, which is only for us. There's no common sense here. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as far as the invuln and keeping forts, Swag Dad, yeah, that's been a mixed.
I don't have a problem with
That one's
one.
yeah, that's had a mixed reception. So
Sorry, I just had to
I mean,
squeeze
if
that
you're
in there.
in a fort, well, okay, yeah. If they're invulnerable though, just like the guards, they shouldn't be able to do damage outside the fort.
Yeah.
If you're invulnerable, then you should just not do damage. Same thing with the guards. Isn't that what we were talking about? Is the guards shouldn't be able to aggro you when they're invulnerable. If you're invulnerable, you shouldn't be able to do damage either.
Yeah, because you just might as well stop and let them kill you because there's no getting away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
that's
saw
bad.
that. I saw that happen to my buddy Highlander real time.
Yeah, man. Oh,
It's
man.
Poor
happened to
guy, I
me as
couldn't
well. It's
even help
happened to
him.
all of us.
I felt
Nobody
bad.
could. There was nothing you could do.
That's
Nobody.
never
anybody
happened
could.
to me. Extreme. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, it's
Yeah.
happened to almost all of us. But
Yeah.
Swag Dad, I'm right there with you. That system could have been implemented a little bit better. Where if it's going to be a complete invuln safe zone, the guards should not aggro outside the walls, and should not do damage to anyone
Yeah.
unless they're inside the walls when they're not supposed to be.
I mean, if they're invulnerable and
Or
they
it's a siege
aggro
time.
and they don't do any damage, that's fine. But either way, they shouldn't aggro at all. But if they were to aggro, they shouldn't do any damage. Nothing invulnerable should do damage. And that's something they can put in the game. And they cannot tell me they don't have the tech for that, because they do. I know they do. You can say that stuff cannot do damage if it's invulnerable.
Something else I kind of want to check from yesterday's freaking fort hit. For the first time, I was able to be pulled through that corner open window. I was being able to chain pull through that. I have never seen that done. Ever.
I think that's always been a thing.
Oh, man.
You got to be in the exact right spot, though.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. They've tried to pull me through the wall before, and usually I get hung up on the wall. And it just like makes me go against the wall, and you're like, oh, geez. But
Well,
I don't know how
anytime
they
there's a
got you through
base,
it. That's pretty
something
intense.
on the bottom part, like a rock, I've tried to pull things around a rock, and the rock stops them. I would have thought it would have been the same
Well, it's
principle.
probably just an
They
oversight.
sure the hell pulled me right through that window.
For something like that, what you should do is go up to the spot where you got pulled through, and then pull up your F10, and then take a picture of the spot that you got pulled through and send that to
Yes,
sport.
I
then
will.
They would probably
I'm
fix it.
just curious. That
Because
was
that
something else.
shouldn't happen.
Even our veteran playing Kirimara never had seen anything like that.
I've never been pulled through the wall, but I've heard
I think-
people getting pulled through.
Yeah, Highlander, I think you just got unlucky there.
Yeah.
Well, I actually got pulled through an opening in the wall. It was an opening, but it's the window opening in the corner where the window is. That's
Okay,
where they pulled me through at.
If the wall was still up and the window was there, you just
Correct.
got you got unlucky then.
I
You
don't
just,
know. I'm gonna investigate it for next time when I'm in that situation. We
yeah,
shall see.
I think you just happen to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and they just got you.
Highlander will be
I don't
wiggling his
know.
butt at the window. Hey, come chain me, boys. I want to see if you can pull me through here. So, as far as what we had to
Um,
talk about today, I've covered everything I've got. So, do you got anything else, you guys?
um, hold on, look at my notes. I'm sure I had something. I mean, we can always. I don't know. Have you guys played the new player campaign at all recently?
No, I heard you wanted to talk about that. You should talk
All
about
right,
the new player campaign.
all right. So I went through
Revision
that
12.
again. Yeah, seriously. I've gone through that so many times now. Except for this time, when I went through it, I actually stopped and read pretty much everything and was more thorough than usual. Because I know for the longest time I could have sworn they never sat there and told you what some of the hotkeys were. It turns out they did. They're just buried in there if you're not paying attention.
Okay.
Um, excuse me. So I mean, it's much more informative than I thought it was, but at the same time, there's a lot of things they could be doing better. For example, they do have lore drop NPCs in that new player campaign. However, the symbol above their head is the same as the side quests. So if you're not interested in side quests, but you are in lore or vice versa, you don't know which one's which because they look exactly the same. So I'd say switch that up a bit. Either give them a different symbol or a different color or something. Also, there's a lot of important information in there that I don't think was highlighted as well as it could have been. And what I mean by that is early on in the campaign, you notice that a lot of the important information, or what the devs deem important, is emboldened and or highlighted in yellow, and a lot of information wasn't that should have been, such as information on wards and bane trees, how the sieges work and whatnot. There was practically no information given on experimentation or how it works. But at one point in that campaign, you're asked to do that, and it's just thrown right in your face. You're not told how it works or what the pros and cons of choosing durability over all stats are, or vice versa. It's just, hey, here's this. Distribute these points. We're not going to tell you what they are, how they work. Just distribute them, and move on to the next quest. So the one thing I would recommend to the devs is go back through, reread their entire script for the campaign, and re-highlight certain things, or re-highlight some things. Like I said, some of the stuff that's emboldened is just the same color as the normal text. So you have like your normal gray and then your emboldened gray. If you're not really looking for it, you're gonna miss it. And some of that emboldened gray stuff is actually pretty important. So I'd say change all that to a different color. The highlighted yellow stuff works just fine. Excuse me, sorry. Um, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Let's see. I said that. Oh, right. Your end of campaign text. When you finish everything, uh, in the three different temples and in Sky Point, the campaign doesn't assume you're level 30 yet. When you're gonna hit level 30, probably around the Moon Temple area. So you might want to go back and revisit that a little bit. And for whatever you do, do not tell someone who just hit level 30 about dregs. Why would you? That's just mean. That's just mean. Let him go play Shadows for a bit first. But don't tell him about dregs right away. Uh,
I think they could just. I mean, if they're not going to make any kind of real questing system, then all I think they should do is make Sky Point bigger or more zones, and then there's areas that you can explore and you can find mobs and you can kill stuff and all that. Just go have fun. And then if you come up on an area that's got there's a keep here, they could easily just put right there. They could put hi, welcome to blah 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 keep. Here's what you do. Here you want to learn how to take this over? Sure. Let me go. How do you do that? Yeah. Okay. Here's what you do, and then that's it. They don't even have to go through all this crazy bullshit that they're going through.
okay, so that's basically so that's redoing the whole questing system in general. I'm not opposed to that either.
Yeah.
The whole explanation about keep just needs to be fixed regardless.
Yeah, keeps, outposts. Outposts, and actually, when a person hits level 30, outposts are probably going to be their whole stretch, right? That's going to be their whole thing because the first thing you do when you walk out on a map is you see a gazillion flags all over the place. Those are all outposts, right? Well, what do you do with them? You know?
Well, that is explained actually in the campaign. That actually is
yeah,
talked
but I'm just
about.
saying. But if you, still, even if it's explained, when you walk onto a battlefield, you don't know what the hell. I mean, you're like, holy shit, these are all owned by. Geez, these aren't war tribes. Is this group mean? You know, who does this belong to? You know, you have a lot of questions that come up in your head.
Fair enough. I think it's pretty. Maybe I'm giving people too much credit, but I think when the flag is not the color of your faction, it's safe to assume it's not a friendly and it's something you can take.
I
So
don't know what people think.
I will give the campaign credit. They do explain what an outpost is, how it works, and that you need to bring up your map to find it. Does talk about it. Some of that stuff could be highlighted or better explained. They do talk about it. One thing they don't really talk about is binding to a respawn statue, because you're asked to do that multiple times. And the first time you do it, they have you leave that area without unbinding the statue. So if you sit there and do your Alt P, it's going to sit there and pull you back. I think at that point you've left the Sun Temple and they're sending you into Moon. So, you Alt P, and next thing you know, you're back in the Sun Temple instead of Moon. You're going to be a little frustrated and pissed off.
I don't.
So
I don't like that they mix and match. They should let God's Reach shouldn't even be.
Well, my point is, well, the only time you're ever going into the Sun or Moon Temple in God's Reach is just for the campaign itself. Aside from that, you're never going in there. But my point is before you leave the Sun Temple, since they have you bind to the statue in there, explain that you need to unbind there or your Alt P is going to take you back there. That needs to be explained a lot sooner than it is. It is explained, but a little later on to the point where it could be a little too late. So just some minor. I mean, I got a whole list of stuff I could go on for a bit, but I don't want to. It's not that interesting at the moment, so I'll probably put that into a video later or a forum post.
Mm-hmm.
But just the campaign is better than I thought it was after going through and reading slowly. But there's still some things they could do better in terms of just highlighting key pieces of information that are in there, but not necessarily highlighted. Like I said early on, you're kind of trained as a player to sit there and look for because not everyone's going to sit and read the whole thing word for word. If I suspect most people who just want to get through it are going to sit there and look for the emboldened yellow wording because that denotes something important. So, yeah.
Okay. Highlander, you got anything?
Nothing. Said my piece.
All right. Well, in any event, guys and gals and pals, I think we're going to wrap it up for this week. Now, Dregs, the new Dregs should be coming out on Monday after next, I think, and that'll probably also coincide with patch 7.8.
Yeah,
I think.
Because I think this campaign ends next Monday, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, the Monday after next.
No, we got 8 days left. 8 days left in Shadows. It ends.
Yeah, it ends
Monday after this Monday.
Yeah, not this Monday. The following Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, the following Monday. A week from Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
That's probably when the new 7.8 will drop. So
correct.
We will talk about that. We'll talk about the patch notes and everything. When we get them, we'll talk about whatever the new Dregs rules are for this time. And we'll, do what we do. That's all I got.
I got a question for you guys actually before I forget. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but because I've asked this before and didn't really get any responses. When you guys first started the game as a new player, what were some things you wish you had known after the fact that you wish you knew that the game just didn't really explain that well, or you just didn't know that you wish you'd known? Aside from what you already told me fear about dropping,
thousands of dollars on a dream.
Yeah, I would say a small fortune.
Don't drop thousands of dollars on a dream you can't control. I don't know, dude. To be honest, I didn't know anything. I was just completely confused as hell for a long time before.
There's nowhere near enough information on how to play this game.
Yeah,
That's
Especially
why
if you
I'm
want
at-
to
nowhere to find
craft,
it.
it's horrible. The crafting is absolutely mind-boggling what it takes, and if you to even know how to begin crafting, to me was mind-boggling.
Yeah,
To even know how to begin it.
because that's like the first thing you're like, oh well, I can just craft some gear, and then you're like, oh gee, I have to do. Okay, let's do that. Oh, we gotta do that. Oh man, and then after 700 steps later, you're like, man, this sucks. I'm
Well, I
not doing
understand
this.
this is a group game. You want group things, but why do you make rocks that you can only have 2 people to hit? Some guys play games solo. They don't play them in a group. There should,
Yeah,
if a guy
well,
wants to go out and quarry or mine or whatever it may be, why does he have to have 2 people to hit a rock?
because
Yeah.
they're
From Mother
well,
Earth.
some people
That's
say
insane.
forcing, some people say encouraging,
Nah,
but either way, it sucks. You should just let people do what they want. You don't need to encourage them.
absolutely.
You don't
It's a
need to
game,
encourage them
and
to be
people want to
social.
enjoy themselves.
If you want to take people out of their element and make them something they're not, you're not doing it right. Because just
Yeah.
let people be assholes by themselves if they want. If they want to be assholes with other people, let them do that. But don't try and
They give
force
them
them,
something they
encourage
want
them,
to do and
convince
keep
them
giving
that they're
stuff.
wrong because they don't think the way you do. Screw that. Just let them play the way they
You
want.
have to give something that people want, or they won't stay and they won't play.
Yeah, and this game needs
Yeah.
lots of content. This game needs something new in it, like I've never seen before. We're tired of
Yes, it does.
doing the same shit over and over and over and over. You can turn all the knobs you want, but it's still the same stuff. You can move it
Yeah.
around. You can paint it different colors. You can do whatever. It's still the same shit. You're just moving
Yes.
it around. There's no new
Lipstick on a
objectives.
pig.
It's still the same objectives. There's no new objectives. There's no anything. Yeah, you just fix it. Just figure it out, guys. This is not. I don't think that, after this many years of video games have been around, that this should even be an issue for the dev team. It should be, boom, yeah, here's an idea. Let's do this. Boom, let's do that. Yeah, boom, we can do this. Yeah, make it happen. You got a brand new team, full production. Let's make it right,
And I'm
because
not
the
seeing
Throne
many
War thing
changes
just
going
isn't
on.
cutting it. It's just not cutting it, guys. It's not sustainable for. You got about 3 months of content in your game, and then everybody's done, and then they'll just go away because there's nothing else to do. It's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'd say you got more than 3 months of content. You got thousands upon thousands of hours of content. It's just all repetitive and boring. It's crafting because that's how long it
Well,
takes.
that's not, to me. That's not content. I mean,
was a
places to
joke.
explore and all that. So
It was a joke, dude.
And a lot of what we use is dependent on crafters. If crafters start quitting us and we can't get the shit we need, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else because I need my shit. Because I'm horrible PvPer. I need
Well,
my gear.
I think you should be less reliant on shit, and that's the problem. That's what we were talking about.
Yep.
I mean, shit is nice to have, but it shouldn't be relied on. Like, we should be able to play the game without it. And those that
Absolutely.
can get it, sure, but then we need other things we can do. If we can't beat them, and we can't get the gear, and we can't get the stuff, then what's the point? Where's the incentive to move on? Where's the incentive to go forward? They need to fix that. So anyway,
I'm definitely in a dark place right now with the game. I can tell you that much. I really am.
If there wasn't an event going on right now, I'd probably be playing something else, to be perfectly honest.
yeah. Well, I already did my event stuff, so I'm good. But
Well, I'm trying to get mine done. I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it. Much like Highlander, my time is limited during the week,
what?
and there's a lot of people running around that
Plebeians.
Well, I can play every day, but on my work days, I can only play an hour or two after I get off work. And the way the game is set up, there's not a whole lot I can do in an hour or two at night. So
yeah.
Well, all I know is that I had 4 skulls before breakfast yesterday, so I'm good.
man,
But
I lost 4 skulls
nice.
at least minimum.
Yours isn't one of the ones I got, so there's that.
No, well, you could have mine if you'd want it. Just
Yeah,
sign them with their account and just
I
come
know,
and kill me.
but, I don't want to kill you. Well, not right now, anyway. So, guys, thanks for coming out today. Xtreme, Highlander, all you guys that came in the video. Yeah, Tangamu says he's tired of the videos of the barbarian spinning. Spin to win is the shit, man. Yeah, we're not a big fan. We don't care about flexing videos. We want it. We want actual informational videos. So
Which
yeah,
I'm working on. It's just getting the information.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I depend on a lot of on my videos and how to learn to play games by how popular the game is, and people will make their own tutorials and put them out there for people to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that in this game.
No,
I
because
can't
well, and
go to
everybody takes
YouTube.
everything for granted. They don't teach you all
Exactly.
the finer points.
Exactly.
They just go, well, you just put this with that, and then you got the thing, and it's like, no, how did you get the thing? How did you get the other? Where did you get that? How did you get that? They don't teach you all that, so it's very
No.
limited information. But anyway,
Yeah.
what?
I was saying, and a lot of, as you just said, a lot of the veteran players aren't too keen on sharing that information.
No.
No, they don't want to share.
And that-
They want the advantage, and I
That's-
understand that too. But
I understand it, but it's one reason why I just don't. I know you're trying to wrap this stream up here. I'm sorry, but it's one reason I just don't like hardcore PvP games. I don't mind PvP, but when you got to the point where people are literally hoarding information, it makes it very difficult to get new players involved because no one wants to share information with them. They don't know how to
PvP
play.
games don't have that kind of crafting.
no, they don't.
I'm not,
Not
talking
as
about the
hard.
hardcore
crafting.
as it is.
I'm not talking about the crafting. I'm just talking about the
I'm
blocking
talking
of
about-
information
Yeah.
in general.
Well, they shouldn't have. There shouldn't be any blocking because they shouldn't have that kind of crafting. You wouldn't be able to hide it. Now, hiding builds, who cares? You can figure that out. Crowfall's not
Yes.
that damn complicated. The trees are not that big. You can figure out what people are doing. You can read it in the log files. Ask Highlander, he knows.
Yeah.
But
Yep, I
that's
do.
not the problem. The problem is that
That is not the problem.
they keep you away from stuff you need to be competitive, which
Fair enough. Fair enough.
the suck. Anyway, all right, third time's the charm. I'm gonna get out of here. We'll see you guys
Are you
next week.
Are you sure about that?
Get your peeps or your cheeps.
No, thank you. Not interested.
Be
Alan,
quiet.
you got any more topics?
I'm gonna turn these guys off. We'll see you guys later.
Highlander, how is your week? Just waiting for Fear to finish wrapping his stream up.